Now that you've learned some of the roots of Reishakti yoga, it's time to learn some of the basics now that you have this foundation. So the first thing I'd like to start with you on as far as basics is the techniques that influence Reishakti yoga. I've actually talked to you a little earlier about some of these influences. The very first one is going to be Reiki. So what is Reiki? Reiki was discovered by Mikao Usui in 1922. It's a form of alternative medicine that incorporates energy healing. And universal energy is said to be brought through the palms of the practitioner. And through those palms, it allows for the transference of healing energy and healing. So that's Reiki. We're really only going to touch on the basics of each one that has influenced Reishakti yoga. More can be available online. You can find information on Reiki just about anywhere, or maybe you're already familiar with Reiki. So the next influence is Kriya Yoga. And you'll recognize that I've mentioned Kriya Yoga before. Kriya Yoga is very dear to my heart. It was brought to the West by Paramhansa Yogananda, and it evokes energy through a series of energization exercises. And then what it does is it stimulates the body and allows for that energy to flow. And the energy is guided by breath, up and down. And the breath is actually up and down the spinal column. So it actually circulates in the front and back of the spinal column. And basically, this energy provides self-healing and balance, as well as prayer for others to heal. So you can invoke prayer for others to heal. But that's a little bit about Kriya Yoga. And if you'd like to learn more about Kriya Yoga, I really, anybody that is interested in spirituality, I would highly recommend that you read the book Autobiography of a Yogi, which is free on the Reishakti Institute website. If you go to the website and download it, you can download the free book. It really is a stunning piece of work and a large influence. The next influence is transcendental meditation. Some people may be familiar with transcendental meditation through a band called the Beatles. And Maharishi Mahesh Yogi in the 60s brought transcendentalism more into the front, more into the spotlight through the Beatles. And he began teaching the method in 1955, and it's guided by what's called a mantra. It's rooted in Hinduism, and it's basically utilizing a mantra, which is a word phrase, okay? And it could be anything, or it could be simply a sound like Om, which is a mantra itself. So it's a phrase that represents sound and marries sound and spirituality. You utilize this for about 15 to 20 minutes silently, and this basically brings on healing to the self. But it really doesn't address any transference of energy to other people. It's simply really rooted in the self. It is scientifically proven to work and reduce stress, and that's incorporated within Reishakti yoga. Finally, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about bilateral stimulation. Bilateral stimulation I learned through what's called EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And basically what bilateral stimulation is, it's the use of pulses or touch or sound or light or whatnot through a back and forth movement. And what it does is it actually activates both hemispheres of the brain bilaterally and allows people to process. It basically takes a psychological arousal with the negative and reverses it and allows you to associate it with a positive. The body and the brain naturally want to do this. Now, this becomes very, very important to Reishakti yoga. So how is Reishakti yoga different than all these? And basically, it's different because it incorporates all these. Remember, yoga union. It unionizes all these techniques and allows for the most amazing spiritual consciousness experience that you can have. So basically, it takes the guided invocation from Reiki. It takes the bilateral mantra, which is a scientific concept and is also married with transcendental meditation. Okay, so if we say mantra, again, it's associated with transcendentalism. If we take a mantra and we make a back and forth movement from it, ah, om, back and forth, this mantra converts naturally into bilateral stimulation. And it's my belief that the gurus knew this, and that's what allows for the processing to take place. I'm not saying that every mantra is bilateral, but in Reishakti yoga, the mantra that we use is ah, om, and it is a bilateral stimulation. So it does incorporate scientific method. And finally, again, we talked about visualization, which is a scientific concept, which is proven to be effective, and you're going to learn a little bit more about this in the basic concepts. And innate intuition. Again, there's that concept of innate intuition. It's allowing us to use our intuitiveness, the intuitiveness that we've been provided by the universe, and just to remain open. And with this culmination of these blended concepts of universal energy and these blended techniques, we become one with the universe. We can energize, we can self-heal, and we can transfer that healing energy to others. And that's very different than each one of these. It's, again, yoga, union. It's the culmination of all these techniques.